Hi everyone, this is Ali. We're going to talk about how honeybee during the winter going to handle the temperature, cold temperature of the winter. And before we go into open the discussion, I would like to let all of our journeyman candidates to know that they don't need to present at the live video, because I know everybody is busy with this work or here and there. But I think Facebook saved these live videos on our Facebook, so you all be able to watch it and get some knowledge about the honeybees. But for the exams, yes, I will put some questions about these informations that we give it to the public or everybody about the knowledge of honeybees. And today's subject is about how honeybee will handle the cold temperature of the winter. A lot of our friends and students asking that what's going on, how they can handle it, and if they are able to handle the cold weather or not. In order to open the discussion that really what's going on, I would like to introduce you to one word, which is, we call it exothermic. We have to know what exothermic means, and then we have to know what is endothermic means, and then we can get the better idea and better picture of what honeybee will do during the winter. Exothermic means that the insect or honeybee will obtain their heat and energy from outside source. For example, sun or anything that comes. That's why honeybee is cold-blooded. It's not like human warm-blooded. They are cold-blooded. So if the temperature goes down, it's going to affect on their body. And for example, if the temperature outside goes below 48, 46 degrees Fahrenheit, honeybee going to fall down into the coma. So it's going to affect on their circulatory system. So that's the definition of the exothermic. So in honeybee by itself, by individual honeybee, is exothermic. That means they rely on the temperature and the source from outside. But when they get together as a whole hive, they're going to be endothermic. That means the energy and the heat will obtain is within themselves, not outside. So how this happen that make the honeybee survive during winter time? And the function of this is very interesting, and it's just amazing how these insects are able to survive during the winter. First of all, whenever the temperature inside the hive goes around 55, 57 degrees Fahrenheit, that's the first step that the honeybee start building the cluster inside the hive. Usually when they want to build a cluster, they build a cluster around brood area, which is something like their babies, and also access to the honey around that area. That's what they start building the cluster. So cooler it gets, the cluster gets compact and get closer to each other. This cluster is contained of several layers. And the most important part is the central of the or core of this cluster is the queen. So they put the queen in the center, and then they surround her and try to warm her to 94 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the temperature that's supposed to be inside the hive. So if it goes higher than 94 degrees, then they have to cool it down. If it goes below 94 degrees, then they have to warm it up in order to adjust it for this specific temperature. And these layers, interesting that the outside layer, they sacrifice their life in order to save the rest of the colony. So the outside layer, they act as like an insulation for the rest of the hive. So colder it gets, and then more layers going to protect it. In order to understand these layers, it's just like a lettuce. It has a layers. So these are the same thing. I brought a lettuce here, so you can see layers. Each lettuce has a layers on top of each other, and then when you go below this leaf, then there is another leaf coming out. So that's the same thing for them. Now my wife gonna say, what kind of class is it? All we need tomato, cucumber, make a salad. So so I try to show you that what layers we are talking about. It's exactly like a lettuce. So they surround the queen, and then they start building it. So that's why these layers protect the inside. And then if the temperature of the hive goes below 46 degrees, then the outside layer gonna go in coma and they're gonna die. In some area or some research scientists, they believe that this outside layer, what they do is they suffer the cold temperature, and then what they do is they squeeze themselves to go inside the cluster, and they switch places. So the inside bee are warm, they come outside, and the outside bee, which they are cold, before they go into the coma situation, and then they go outside, and then they switch the places with each other. That's the way they make a layer. But how they create heat, what will happen in order to survive? For example, wasp or yellow jacket, and they cannot survive during the winter, so they die. The only insect family member which gonna survive is the queen, which the queen goes in the hibernation. That's the only one gonna survive. In the honeybee, it's not working that way. So they have to survive during the winter, and the only way that they can survive is they put their hand together and they organize themselves and try to fight with the cold weather, which is the outside hive. So outside layer and inside layer, they exchange with each other. How this happened? There are several theories about this situation, but what I believe and what I don't believe, I share with you all so you know what's going on. At least you get some knowledge about this. It is said that the honeybee inside, they will shivering themselves in order to create heat. So they consume honey. The real word is flight muscles. Flight muscles are the muscles around thorax. So there are two types of muscles around the thorax. One is vertical, another group is horizontal. So they get together and they squeeze themselves. These flight muscles connected to the tip of the wings, and they, by contraction and expansion, the wing goes up and down. That's what the bee flies. That's why other insects fly. That's the general idea what's going on with it. It is said that when the honeybee wants to warm up, they consume honey, and then they move their wings, they flap, and they create heat, which I totally disagree with this. When honeybee wants to create heat, they never move their wings. Now, in order to argue about this, or to have a good argument about this, I'm going to show you something very, very nice, and also you can understand it much better what's going on. We know during the summer when we get hot, we put the fan on ourselves and blow air on us. What this blow air gonna do? The blow air means the molecules, air molecules, gonna pass through and contact with our surface of our body, and then this gonna remove the heat from the surface. So that's why we cool down during the summer. The same thing for the bees. We have an expression, we call it they are fanning. Almost the same thing like we use the fan. They are fanning. That means they move their wings up and down. They circulate the air inside the hive in order to maintain the temperature to 94 degrees Fahrenheit. So what they do is this flight muscle, which is in the thorax, they contract and expand, and then they make the wing to go up and down, and then they create a fanning. So they let the air circulate and go over the brood area and also themselves, so they maintain the temperature to 94 degrees. In order to understand it, I brought something like a fan right now, so I hope you can see. And this fan, if I turn it on and blow it on myself, and you see this, I feel cold because this air gonna hit on my surface of my face and then remove the heat from my surface. That's why I cool down. During the summer, it works this way, and but during the winter, that's not gonna work like that, because one, they are in the cluster, they squeeze themselves, and in order to create heat, so there is no space to move the wings. But the purpose is not moving the wings. This is what will happen. If imagine the thorax, the muscles, what they do, they contract and expand without moving the wing area. That's going to create a friction. That's why it creates heat. In order to understand it, let me give you one more example. Very nice. This is the drill. It works with the battery. That means the source of the drill of turning left or right is from this battery. It's function from this battery. So what it does, the electrical energy change to mechanical energy here, and then start turning. This is the normal procedure. So if we come and we run it even for 5 minutes, 6 minutes, nothing gonna be happen as long as all energy exchange to the something else. But if I hold the tip of the drill and don't let the drill turn. So what will happen is the electrical energy wants to change to mechanical energy, but mechanical energy is not working, so that means it's going to create a friction. So then this section of the drill is going to get hot. Even if I leave it for 1 minute, less than a minute, it's going to get hot. The same thing for the body, for the honeybee. So what they do is they contract and expand the thorax muscle, which is flight muscle, without moving the wing. Then it's going to create a friction. It's going to create heat. That's what the heat comes from. That's one of the reasons that I totally disagree of they move their wings. No, that never happened. They don't move their wings. You can do it in your house, and this type of exercising, you're going to see what I'm talking about. If you come and grab your hand just like that, I hope you can see. And if you do it straight and back, if you do it 100 times, 200 times, maybe it doesn't make you tired or later. It's depending on the age. Like me, I'm going to get tired. So, but if you hold it tight, hold the muscle tight, and just a little, a couple of inches come this way and a couple of inches go that way. If you do it 10 times, you're going to feel a tight muscle in your hand and also heat build up. So this is what happened. So the honeybee, they contract and expand the muscles in the thorax without moving the wings. Then it creates heat. That's where the heat comes from. This heat is enough to protect themselves and maintain the temperature to 94 degrees, but it depends on the temperature outside the hive. If the temperature outside the hive during the winter go -10, then it's going to be so difficult to maintain 94 degrees inside the hive. But as long as they maintain it from 94 to before they go into the coma, means 46 degrees, they will be okay. But if they don't and they let it go into the below 46 degrees, then they're going to fall in the coma and they're going to fall down. A lot of beekeepers, they got into surprises during the winter that they went and they saw their bees die, the cluster die, or bees dead, and couple of the signs that to see what caused the symptom of this. Sometimes when we open the hive, then they're going to see a frame that the bees are clustered on the surface of the frame. But in order to see if what caused this, sometimes starvation killed the bee. That means they don't have access to the honey. They cannot move when it's cold. So they stay there on the top of the honey and try to consume. And if the population is not enough, they cannot create heat, and then they're going to die. One sign that we know for sure that is because of the lack of the food. When we see the bees, honeybee, their head inside the cell, then we know they were starving to death. So they couldn't get the food to eat. That's one of the reasons that I always advise all of the beekeepers that make sure during the fall you have enough honey and you have enough bees in order to protect it. Honey need to be next to the bees. In the normal temperature is not a problem. They can move to, even if it is 75 degrees, 70 degrees, they can move to the section, another section. But if the outside temperature goes below zero, that means the inside the hive is going to be below 46 degrees. Then it's going to be difficult for them. They are not able to move. So because they are cold-blooded, the temperature is going to affect on the root. By the way, when we say cold-blooded, honeybee does not have a blood. We human has a blood. The animals have a blood, but honeybee does not have a blood the way that we think about it. They have, we call it hemolymph, is a plasma, and then that's what they have. It's some type of amber color. That's what it is, and then that's what. But in order to general idea, everybody understand what it is and what's going on, we call it blood. So that way people can understand it better than to say hemolymph or some other words. So this is what will happen during the winter, and they survive. So as a beekeeper, we have to make sure that our hive has enough pollen, has enough honey. One of them, some people, they might make a mistake that they try to get honey as much as they could get it from the hive, and they don't leave them anything, and then that's why for sure they survive. They die. They cannot survive during the winter, and they have to be very careful what they do, what's going on. And also, every program on TV has a commercial. They interrupt the main program, they have a commercial. So I have to stop the program. I have to do the commercial. I want to let everybody know that our bee school gonna start on February 3rd, only 3 or 4 hours a week. So it's on Sunday from 1 to 4 in Winston-Salem. We put the promotion for each member or each student. For the beginner is about $50, which really $50 nothing, and more on top of that we supply the book, so you know how expensive is the book. So but my whole purpose is try to support the beginner when they start, and all year long. It's not only just for 1 month, 2 months, and then they go out of school and they are happy that they have done something. What bothers me is people with a lot of excitement, and they want to involve into the beekeeping and take care of the bees because they know that they have to protect the nature and they protect the bees. And a couple of months later, they fall down into the situation and they don't know who they have to call, ask for help, and then they end up, their hives gonna end up into the storage. And that's one of the reasons I created this academy. So we're gonna support our students, beginner and also public, all year long. So we check with them, and we check all of their hives, make sure they are okay. We're going to have a meeting with all of the beginners and journeyman levels. One positive step that we did, our journeyman class started on December 6th, which I enjoyed so much. We had a potluck dinner. It was very nice, and some candidates, they make some food and they brought. It was very nice of them. So I think we're going to have another group of journeyman level. Journeyman level is those who already have a knowledge about the bees. They have hives and they have a knowledge about 1 year, 2 years experience. And if they have a certificate for the beginner, that'd be fine. If they don't, it's okay. We can help them to make sure that they know some of the basic of the beekeeping before they come into the journeyman level. And for the journeyman level, we select a book from the Georgia University. It's a very nice book, and they study it, and also they do a research and they study a lot. So in our academy, our beginner knowledge should be equal the journeyman level in the outside, or our journeyman candidate should have a good knowledge which can challenge the master level in the society or in the market. So this is what it is. Please, if you all have any friend or anybody interested about the bees, you already know how important is the honeybee. please encourage them to come and register for the class. And only 3-4 hours a week really is nothing. And I know everybody is working, but honeybee is very important for us. Our next, or I'm trying to every often do the live video and educate the public about this. I was thinking about come and talk about some type of diseases in the hive, or some situation in the hive, that how the people who already have some hives, they're going to encounter with this situation, with this problem. I shared with you one thing. Where did I put it? If you look at this one, this is a frame. I hope you are able to see. And this is the frame of freeze it. Let me adjust it. I hope. If you look at this, all this cap root, that means all cells cap. But if you look at the cells, they are bigger than they create like a dome. So what is show, all of these are drones. They're all males, which is not supposed to be. So all of this is supposed to be a worker. That means a small cell inside. I shared with you something like maybe this area, maybe this top area is a worker cell. But look at all of this. This is about 1,500 to 2,000 drone cell here. So there is a problem in the hive when we see the situation like that. So next time, I hope if people are interested, I'm going to talk about this and what was going on, especially for those who have a hive already. It might be very interesting, because I know a lot of the friends, and they were asking me how come they have a lot of drones in the hive, which drones supposed to be only 1% of the whole hive. Now that means less than 1%. That means every 100 bee you see should be one drone, one male. 99% should be female. So if the beekeeper, usually they don't have aware, or they are not aware of what's going on. They open their hive and they see a bunch of drone. And everybody get their familiar with that. If anybody has a question, welcome to ask questions. Even though I see only 2 people, which that's a blessing. So if not, then I will meet you all for the next time, and I will let everybody knows that when we're gonna have a live video. And we are fresh with this technology, and I thought this is very nice, or a good opportunity. God bless whoever created the Facebook, so we can get together and exchange our knowledge with each other and help each other. May God bless everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. If I don't receive any question by next 10-20 seconds, then I will disconnect it. So hopefully Facebook will save this, and you can watch it on the Musavi Farm, and also you can watch it on my school site, which is American Innovative Beekeeper Academy, and go over there. You can watch this video also. Your friends, if anybody interested to join our bee school, and they can go into the American Innovative Beekeeper Academy site, and they can register for the purpose of the class. We have another class coming in Kernersville also. So we have 2 classes, Winston-Salem and Kernersville, for this purpose. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you all later.